We are here for the maths workshop, and there are teachers sitting over here who belong to different levels. We have teachers from the primary and secondary, and myself teaching O levels maths. What our topic of discussion today is generally what mathematics is, and specifically speaking, we are going to talk about the different techniques to solve the story sums or the word problems. We have already started. We have a discussion that mathematics, basically the Americans call it as math. Britishers, they call it subject, especially in the school, they call it maths. And mathematics, when you specify as a field of study, you call it as mathematics. We have got different definitions from all mathematics from teachers. They have given me some very good ideas, but generally more concise or specific definition is mathematics in the field of study in which we deal with numbers, quantities, and shapes. We discussed that numbers are fixed; they are numerals. They are numerals, and they are used to specify quantities. Quantity is something which have a magnitude. Magnitude means size. We can measure it. So any measurable number and the changes in the number basically will be called as a quantity. So quantity has a magnitude. And it can be increasing, we can use the words less or more in the quantities. Shape or shapes. Shapes basically in maths are the closed figures which give a meaning to that particular figure. If it is a random figure, generally we don't discuss it in maths. Maths we always talk about closed shapes. For example, a rectangle or a square, circles. All these have different properties, attributes, characteristics, and these are the three main things on the math we focus on. Generally, students think that there is no link between mathematics and the daily life. They think that many times students must be asking you that who has invented fraction? Why we are studying this topic? I mean, it is not linked with anything. Why we are doing this calculation? It's not important. We never see it in our daily life. Here is a close link, as you know, by as a teacher, that, for example, if you are studying, if you are teaching fractions, for example, fractions or fraction is a topic which is covered in every grade level, and it will be used so commonly in our daily life, but maybe we are not relating it to fractions. For example, many of you would be very good cooks. Ingredients you mix for a recipe, it is all fractions. For example, half cup of salt, sugar, to make cake. It means that we are dealing with fractions. I want you to write down what do you think what can be a good definition of a fraction, because these definitions are important. My students in the O levels, I usually give one or two definitions. He asks when the paper definitions come up, why we are doing it. If we do a topic without understanding that what the topic is all about, then our knowledge will be limited. There are two things which you see from teaching and from testing your students. One is to secure, to get a good grade from them. Secondly, knowledge. Without knowledge, if you are getting a star and they don't retain that information, it's not learning for life. Learning for life is they get a better grade and they also retain that information and use that information in their own lives as well. That is learning for life. Okay. So fractions or fraction, anything which comes into your mind. I always have students who, whenever I ask them like maths or electronics or physics, they say you can't write. You can write. The thing is that the fear is that you are fearing that you are going to write something wrong. How do you know that you are going to write something wrong? You never know. So write whatever you think. What a fraction is. I understand actually the thing is that majority of us have a fear mathematics in our mind. But gradually, the first thing is to have to be confident. Just accept the fact that you are going to make mistakes. If you accept that, then you are going to cover up every weakness of your life. This is true for everything in life. If you have a fear, do that thing first. When some part of a quantity compared with the whole, for example, if we write 2/7 of the students failed the test, it means that we are representing the entire class by 7, and the part of the class which failed. So any comparison is a fraction, basically. And in daily life also we use this term everywhere. Whether we are constructing a building, whether we are cooking or making or following a recipe, or if we are talking in general, we use fractions. Even if my mother doesn't know what is a fraction, she's going to ask me that, what do you want? You want your sandwich in 2 pieces or 3 pieces? As a person who knows mathematics, I would say, I want my sandwich in half. So by that she will get the idea that I have to divide the sandwich into 2 equal parts. So that is basically she is using the concept of fraction. Maybe she doesn't know about fraction, but she is using it. So like this, every topic in mathematics is some way related to our daily life and the real life. As a teacher, you have to connect your students the topic which you are teaching with the real life. If you do that, your class will be one of the best classes and you will be their best teacher. because all the teaching which is done now is based on active learning. Can you tell me the method which we been using like 20 years ago or 20 years ago? Still we use that method. What term do we use for the older method we use for teaching? This is a general question. It's a traditional way of teaching. And this traditional way of teaching is a convenient way. You know what is it? It is lecture based. And lecture based teaching is easy. When we are using the whiteboard, writing the notes for the students and explaining that is lecture based. It has worked because the same method has produced very talented scientists, economists, accountants. But the thing is that there is a large part or portion of the students who may not have got it. Maybe chances of failure will be more if you just focus your teaching on lecture-based teaching. So that's why in the Western world they have introduced the concept of active learning. Active learning means that your students are active and your teaching is interactive. Interactive teaching. Example of active learning. In the beginning, I asked you a question. So even if you have a complaint that some of the students are sleeping in the class or they look dull, or you sometimes as a teacher where you feel sleepy at the beginning of the class. So what do we do? As a teacher, you tell your students, ask me a question. This is the topic, ask me something. That will open up your mind. That will activate your mind. Similarly, your students are like this as well. If you ask that question, then they are going to wake up. Then their mind starts working. Interactive teaching. So active learning is important. We have the technology nowadays. The majority of the schools have also now a lot of facilities by which you can use active learning, like using the multimedia. Sometimes I see teachers show different type of cartoons to them. Don't leave that activity as it is. It's not just a cartoon. Give them a question. What have you learned? What have you observed in that documentary or cartoon or movie? They are going to respond, and then they will remember that for their lifetime because they have given their views about that cartoon or about that movie or about that documentary which they have seen. The challenges of active learning. This topic can go on for years. This is such a huge topic. How many of you do presentations in your class? Like you call the students on the board for presentations. Anyone? I recently have given grade 9 topic of presentation for graphics for writing equations. And the students be given 10 minutes of time. Give them a week at least. They can do it on multimedia also, they can do it on the board as well. First stage will be to call them on the board and tell them to explain the topic, give an example, connect this topic with the real life. It will be their real narrative. They will get a lot of confidence. The others who are sitting in the class, they will also be motivated. Another thing is to involve them with the group work. I think in smaller classes, the group work can be one of the best strategies in which if the students are sitting together in a group, they can do a better job, they will learn from each other. Another thing which you can give is to give them for research, maybe the smaller kids, give them some tasks which involves their parents also. maybe you just tell them that ask a recipe from your mom, and then when they bring that recipe, you can relate it with fractions, or in the higher classes, you can relate it with the mathematical problems like profit, discount, loss, all these things which we have mentioned. So active learning is important, and if you do that, then it will be a great mixture of the lecture-based teaching and active learning. One question generally people ask that active learning takes a lot of time and we have to cover the syllabus. So how we are going to do it? The easier answer is to have a combination. Lecture-based teaching plus active learning. Gradually increase the level of active learning. But in the beginning, what you can do, like 70% is lecture-based. I can understand everybody, including me, would like to write something on the board and explain. And active learning will take your energy as well as a teacher. Because although your students are active, but you are the most active person in active learning teaching. So gradually we can shift to this particular system. Now, something related to the word problems. Just copy these steps which I am writing for solving a word problem. There are many different types of word problems. So I will be focusing on one specific type and then it will focus. First step is to identify a formula. So this technique will be workable where in the problem where we use a particular formula. If we don't use a formula, this technique will not work. So this is specifically for those questions or sums where we use a formula. Plug in what we know means put the values which you have given in the problem. Use math. Math means either you use division, multiplication, substitution, or percentage, and get the answer, solve it. So that is math. Different techniques of mathematics. The teachers who don't teach mathematics, they don't have any idea of mathematics. I am writing down a formula for you. If you have to calculate the distance, any distance, what do? Multiply speed with time. That is a simple formula. Every one of us know multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Basically, that is the definition of a literate person. According to the definition of how we define in Pakistan, if you are a literate person, you can write simple English Urdu and you can do calculations of addition, multiplication, subtraction. This is one formula. From this formula, we can have different equations. Like, if you are not interested in distance, if you want to find out the speed only, then take this time on the left side. So we get another formula. This is on time. If you have to find out any speed, what do? Divide the distance with the time. Time taken to complete a journey. What is the distance of that journey? Similarly, if I am not interested in anything else, but I am interested in time taken to complete a journey, that will be distance upon speed. Divide the distance with the speed and you will get the time whatever. So this means that if you have one formula in your mind, you can make different formulas automatically from that one basic formula. Have you got this?
Question. The steps which are mentioned
Yeah.
formula problem. Identify the formula.
Yes.
Over there, this should be the second step. First of all, you should check the statement. What is required?
Yes, actually, this is specifically for the problems which involves a formula. Different types of problems in a long story.
Different type of problem.
Then they will say in the first step, read the problem.
Yes, that is the main
Yes.
thing. Because the first the students are not able to understand the requirement. They cannot identify a formula.
This will work only for a small problem where there is a related three times. Now we try to use these three steps for a word problem. What is this question that I Gina drove 10 kilometers to school. It took her 25 minutes. How fast was she driving? So the first step, as we have written, identify a formula. Here we are talking about three different quantities. That is distance, time, and speed. So, and then we identify that is there any formula which is linked, which can link these three quantities? Yes, we have. Today we have studied that distance is equals to speed multiplied by time. When you write the formula, tell your students, try to explain a bit what this formula actually represents. Distance covered by that individual. At what speed she was traveling. How much time she took. So if you say these statements along with the formula, it will make more sense to them. Now the second step was plug in. Plugging means substitute the values which you know. Do we know the distance? Yes. It is 10. Do we know the speed? No. Do we know the time? Yes. The third step was use math to find out which you don't know. So it means that we don't know speed. So we use math. How we are going to use it? If we shift the 25 on the left hand side, this is your left hand side, this is your right hand side, then we will get speed only. It means speed is equal to distance, that is 10 upon time, which is 25. Still our work is incomplete. Although we have got the answer, the thing is that it is a general rule whenever you can simplify a fraction to it and convert it into the simplest form. How we are going to do it? 5 times 2 and 5 times 5. So what do we get? 2 upon 5. Don't convert it into decimals, although you can. Is this a proper fraction or an improper fraction? This is a question from the math teacher. This is a proper fraction. So the examiners in the O-levels or in anywhere, proper fraction is acceptable, but they hate the improper fraction. What they do? They will tell us to convert the improper fraction into a mixed number or into a decimal. Otherwise, they will not give a mark. For example, if this question is of 1 mark only, and if there is an improper fraction, they are not going to give any mark. Whether the student show 2 pages of working, they will count, because the question was of 1 mark and it was for the correct answer only. So they are not. So, now the important thing is that to write down the unit. We have obtained over here speed. When you specify speed, you say, I was traveling to Hyderabad at an average speed of 50 kilometers per hour. You can also say that I was traveling 50 meters per second. What was the first one? Kilometers per hour. Or you can say meters per second. So generally what happened that whenever we write kilometers, the time should be in hours. If we specify the distance in meters, then the time should be in seconds, because it will give a more higher level of sense when you use the correct units of measurements or comparison. So here, what was basically the distance? Distance was given to you in kilometers and the time was given to you in minutes. So this speed is basically 2 upon 5 kilometers per seconds. In maths, it is not acceptable because they